Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the Spiritist Society of Virginia and Kardec Radio. We are here in our Friday uplifting talks and gathering together here to raise our vibrations, learn or relearn, or begin anew with the learning experiences. We all need greater instructions, and Spiritism has great instructions to offer to us so we can put in practice and educate ourselves. Today, we are here with our team. While if you have children, you can go to the Facebook page of the Spiritist Society of Virginia. Just type in Spiritist Virginia or Spiritist Society of Virginia, and you're going to see there a beautiful lesson today on writing for the good with Victor Hugo. It was customized to teach children about writing for the good. Carol Correa and Daisy Gallen are there to lead the children into a beautiful, beautiful lesson. And meanwhile, today we have a special guest, a long time friend of ours, André Cabral. And he comes here from New Jersey without any car, airplane, voltation. It's just through the internet. And what a joy that he's going to be sharing with us a study of one of the passages that Jesus brings to us that is so important about the narrow gate. One of the most difficult to understand, maybe, and really to absorb. And we are going to get together to open our minds and see what we haven't got yet from this passage. Before we begin, our friend Paloma is going to read a message from the book Our Daily Bread. Through this message, we're creating permeability to really understand what we haven't understood this far. So we see beautiful friends joining us. Thank you, friends. We miss you all. And remember, Sunday at 11 a.m., we have our Zoom meeting where we're studying the book Good News by Humberto de Campos. The new link is there in the website. If you need anything, just write to us or go to the app of the SSVA SDC community where we send the links on the very day. All right, so our friend Paloma is going to lead us into this inspirational message.
Hello, everyone. If you have the book.
I can't hear you, Paloma. Sorry.
Can you hear now?
No.
No?
Not
How about
yet.
now?
No.
No, friends?
Your microphone is not muted.
Hello, hello. Oh,
Let me see one thing. Let me see if I can hear you, Luciana. I'm gonna bring you in too, Luciana.
Here now? No.
Can you say something, Luciana?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
No. Okay, maybe guys, you can
Leave
get
and
off
go
and begin
again.
again. No?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'll send you the link again because for some reason I cannot listen to you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me see if I can hear Andre.
I can hear you.
Okay, everybody can speak just so I see if I can hear you.
Yes. Can you
No.
hear me?
Hello?
Okay, I'm sending all of you a new link
I can hear you.
On the
just in
Facebook, we
case.
can
I know
hear.
our friends were home. You can bear with us, friends. Bear with us, okay? I'm sending you the new link just in case. I can't explain why.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm sending all of you a new link. Oh, man. No,
Fã, tá me ouvindo?
somewhat. I'm sending to all of you a new link. Try to get off and get into the new link again just to see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, can
Paloma,
you hear me?
did you get the new link through the email? Try again through the link.
Okay.
Okay, friends, you see the beauty of online, right? Okay, let's see. Luciana, you got the new link, Luciana?
Yes, this is new link.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hallelujah.
Okay.
It's so
But I was
good.
here before, and the Facebook was okay as well. I was checking there, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
they could hear, but I couldn't hear. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny?
Okay. Very
That's
weird.
funny. That's very funny. Sorry, friends, but if I can't hear, it's going to be hard. I apologize because we're also streaming through the app. If you want to listen to the programs, you can listen in the app of Cardiac Radio, okay? So let us wait while we are here. I see Daniel is here, Beth is here, John Da Rosa, Anna, Franklin, Narciso, Paula, and I bet Tony, Natasha, what a joy. Let's see. Paloma, let's see. Paloma.
Yes? Can you hear
Yes. Hallelujah.
me?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Okay, I see. Michelle, Ney. Thank you. Everybody was saying, I can hear. Friends,
Wonderful.
only God knows. Matthew Mills is here, but we're on. Maybe this
We're
was
on.
just to get us in. Now we need to get André with us.
Okay.
André,
Our
where are you?
guest.
Yeah, our guest. Let me see. Let's see. You see? Flávia is here. Oh my gosh, Flávia is here. Don't go away, Flávia. Oi, André. Okay. Okay, he's coming in. And Paloma is going to read a message for us. Thank you, Paloma.
Okay, so we're going to read a message from the book Our Daily Bread, psychographed by Chico Xavier by the Spirit Emmanuel. And it's chapter 58. It's called Contributing. And it starts by saying, let each contribute according to what he has decided in his heart, not sadly or out of necessity, for God loves what is given out of joy. Paul, the Corinthians 9:7. Paul's statement that God loves what is given out of joy is understood by many as referring only to material charity. Praise, however, is not restricted to generous hands that distribute small donations of goodness to the needy and to the suffering. Of course, all gestures of love receive divine recognition, but we must remember that the word contributing in the current lesson appears in all its sublimity. Cooperation in the good is a pulsating matter every day and everywhere. Any individual is capable of extending it. It is not only the beggar who hopes for it, but also the cradle where all experience is renewed, the family in which we refine our virtuous accomplishments, our neighbor, our brother or sister in humanity, and the workplace, which signals our own individual improvement in our daily efforts. At the moment of nightly rest, each heart can question itself regarding the quality of its cooperation at work, in conversations, in affectionate relationships, or in this or that everyday life endeavor. Let us be cautious regarding unproductive sadness and gloom. Ill will, complaints, dissatisfaction, and frivolities are not part of the labor that the Lord expects from our activities in the world. Let us mobilize our resources optimistically, and let us not forget that the Father loves the child that contributes with joy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Paloma, for this beautiful message and the invitation to be here with all and everyone. And I'm going to put some music here so we do our prayer, okay? So let us feel this connection that we all have with God and pray. Let us then raise our thoughts to the Creator and feel the vibrations of love. Dear God, the love you have for us is so abundant and precious that we can feel the deep and soothing vibrations of your embrace. In this moment of our reincarnation where you count on us, when you count on us to be of help to others in our planet. Thank you for the beauty of this moment and for the resources you have granted us so we can redeem ourselves from lives of unconsciousness. And finally, in the opportunity of learning the good, learning to do the good, to feel the good, visualize it, and spreading it with all the resources you have given us. And we rejoice especially for you allow us to bring a special friend, André Cabral, who has been working in your harvest on earth together with the efforts of Jesus Christ, and today can share with us a lesson that is in need to be learned, to be revisited, and to be understood in ways we haven't yet. May all of our homes be in synchronicity with you in this opportunity you're giving us. And especially, may we be open to the therapeutic approach of the loving spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists who are visiting us to balance ourselves, to rescue entities that are in need of help, and take care of our neighborhoods. We ask for your guidance. We need your protection. And we are honored that you're granting us the permission to begin this study in your name and love. And so be it. All right, I see Andre is here. Everything is in place. I'm going to bring him in a minute. Today we have a special friend coming in, and it's a joy. He's going to talk about the narrow gate, making wise choices. And here he is with us, André Cabral. André Cabral comes from New Jersey, right, André?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Jersey, central New Jersey.
Beautiful. André, I know you, Betinho, your brother, Chininha, your family who has, since Brazil, strong connections with the teachings of Spiritism. And right, and especially with you, especially
That's
with
correct.
music, right? You want to say something about it?
Exactly. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure, a great joy to be here tonight. And yes, I have a strong connection with the Spiritist doctrine, actually from home. I was born in a Spiritist home, thank God. And so most of the family, all my brothers, we were 8 siblings. One has already departed, and we're all Spiritists, mother and father. Actually, my name, André Luiz, was given after the author, because when my mother was me, she was reading Nosso Lar, just a word by this, and then she, inspired by, named me after him. And here in the United States, we've been working since the I would say 1993, actually, when I found the first Spiritist center beginning here in New Jersey. Since until those years, I had no knowledge of other Spiritist center in the area, and later I knew some people who were attending in Jersey City, a house that back in those years they were already 70 years old, but the Spanish language. And then the Spirit Center just started here in our area here, in the tri-state area.
In Long Branch, right?
So let's go to the narrow gate.
Yes. We're all
Now
yours.
we are in branch, and okay, yeah, in the Long Branch we are the Spiritist group Path of Light. I've been working there since 2004. Tonight we're going to talk about the narrow gate. This passage of the sermon of the Matthew describes, and I like version better, the chapter 13. It's all about choice. Jesus talks about the narrow gate or the wide gate. So it's all about choice, and I make one remark about the Veterans Day is right around the corner, and I really appreciate. I want to show them all the veterans my appreciation, the gratitude, and recognition, and remembering that they were heroes, and heroes are mostly those who didn't have a choice. They had to walk through the narrow gate and do the job. So our deep respect and appreciation for their service. And also heroes, when we mention heroes, I remember the primitive Christians. They were all heroes. Peter, people who practically they walked the Calvary path after Jesus, and they suffered almost as much as our Master did. I remember when I was a kid in elementary school, religion was, they used to teach religion there, but it was optional for those who didn't follow that religion. And back in those days, in that school, when they talked about religion class, it was Catholic religion, and they call that directly religion. So I had the choice of not to attend those classes, and my friend even advised me for not to attend that class, and we could have other activities while the other kids, the Catholic kids, were having the classes. But I was curious. I've always been. I was curious, and I attended some of those classes, and I learned a lot of the terms, the Catholic terms, how they speak, how they believe, and how they are taught to believe. And I've also learned, and that did take time to learn that, to realize that, because I was already a spiritist. I was already exposed to the reasoned faith, which based in a understand before believing. So it didn't take too much time for me to understand that the dogmatic faith does not fulfill one's heart, and they want us to believe in like an eternal fire of hell, demons, fallen angels, a little Red Riding Hood, Santa Claus, things that doesn't really make sense. They have figurative meanings, but the way they teach, we don't have a choice but believe, right? So then we grow up and we stop believing in those myths. But we keep the good fantasies like Santa Claus, the little Red Riding Hood, we keep them alive in our children's mind because the immature minds need fantasies. And they're not prepared to receive, digest, and understand the truth. So they need fantasy, and they transition slowly into the adult life, like we did. All of us had the same path, right? So in childhood, we are like a trouble-free. We are not conscious. We don't make decisions. Our parents make decisions for us. We are naive. We are innocent. Everything is beautiful, is fantastical, but it's quite possible. And you can be a Hollywood star, an engineer, an astronaut. My childhood dream was to be an astronaut, a superhero, a doctor. You could be anything in this world. But we're not fully grown up yet. We are completely involved and dependent on our parents' psychic field. Parents make the decision in our childhood. Then you leave the childhood and move into the youth phase. When the youth begins, one starts getting fully conscious. Now it's all on us. You are responsible for all your choices. Everything that you choose, you have to be responsible for that decision. So this phase begins about puberty, goes to age 35, some go further, and you go from a dependent to a taxpayer. Let's put it this way, right? And so people try to maintain their childhood level of consciousness and rebel against the world. Their priority is to indulge their craving for immediate gratification, for earthly pleasures and self-esteem. And like a high expectation of the world and sustain unjustified optimism because they underestimated the difficulties and struggles of the real life. They prefer to remain unconscious or the most conscious of the desires of their ego. Then Kardec proposes the reasoned faith. You believe because you understand. Then you go back to Matthew 7, in my favorite passage, the false prophets. The false prophets, they lead you to the broad way. Let lead Ipsilater is here, the broad way. And he says, watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inward ferocious wolves. But their fruit, you will recognize them. By the fruit, you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? No. Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit you will recognize them. So we start thinking about these choices between the narrow gate and the wide gate in, let's say, in 2020 language, not in Jesus' days language. What is the reason why we don't love people as we should? We don't love one another. We don't love our neighbor as we should, as Jesus taught us to. Because we don't have faith enough. We sin because we don't believe 100% in Jesus. We hesitate between our desires, and I always put a big weight between our free will and our consciousness. It's the eternal battle. So it seems that we love ourselves more than we love God, more than we love Jesus. That's why we don't have 100% of faith. So back in the parable, he will be in the when you get to the heaven's door and you knock on the door, right? Knock and it will get the answer. You seek and find, knock and it will be open. And then you get to the heaven's door. And I'm going to ask you a question, and this is for all of you at home as well. From 1 to 10, you don't have to answer, just think of a number, 1 to 10. How sure are you that you're going to get in when you knock on the heaven's door? In Kardec's language, when you disincarnate and now you are a discarnate person, you are a spirit, now you are in the spiritual realm. What would allow you to live in peace with your own conscience? That means now you're at the door of the heaven. You recently died. You're knocking on the door, on the heaven's door, and Jesus is there waiting for you to see the final judgment, right? Okay, to judge you, to see if you can get in or not, if you go to heaven or if you go to hell, right? Back into those days. All right, you have your number, right? Does anybody have 10? I doubt, because every time I ask this question, I never heard a 10. People, we think we try to be honest with ourselves. That's why nobody answers 10, and everybody's honest in this case, because God sees what you're thinking. He can hear, he can read your mind. So nobody's going to lie about it. Ones will say 5, 6, 7, let's say 6. I will be the average. And then the question comes, the second question: why should I let you in? You're going to say, because my good actions outnumber my sins. Is that enough? Is that honest? Well, it might be honest for us. And then comes another question: can you make a list of your good deeds? Can you enlist your good deeds to see if they are really worthwhile to make up these number 60%, right? Of 1 to 10. If you choose 6, you are 6% honest. You deserve 60% to get into heaven. I'll tell you one thing, from 1 to 9, it's all the same. All the same. It doesn't make a difference if you're not 10, completely convicted that you are 10. Any other number is the same thing. So did Christ die for us for 60% of our sins, as they say, right? They say we are taught when we are kids, when don't have the perception to analyze these words deeply, but we believe that Christ died to fulfill his promise, to redeem our sins, the sins already committed and the future sins. Some believe that. Well, let's put this in Kardec's word. Yes, he came and he made the point to show exactly how to live the truth. He taught how to go into the narrow way. He showed us with his own life, his own deeds, his own actions and words, and his actions were correlated to his words, how to live, what the truth looks like. So he gave 100% of his efforts, his promise. He gave 100% of himself. So he didn't die for 60% of our sins, right? Now back to in Matthew chapter 7 again, right? Jesus, it's still there at heaven's door. It's like he's saying, he's not there, to filter who's coming in and out. He's there like he's saying to us, I want you inside. I want to know you. I want you to know me. I want to walk by your side. I want to be with you. Not in the future. Today, I want to be with you in your family, in your work, in your relationship, in your times of trouble, when you are alone, when you are sad, when you are down and out, like a bridge over troubled water, right? And he says also, I know your past. I know your present. I know your future. I know your past. And that's why I was tortured for. That's why I was whipped for. I was stabbed for. I carried that heavy plank of wood on my back for. They drove nails into my feet. They hung me on the cross and I bled to death. And I did it because I love you and I know you and I want you to know me. In our Spirit Center in Long Branch, I work also as a facilitator, as a, let's say, a, those volunteers that dialogue with discarnate spirits in mediumistic meetings. Facilitator, we call it, advisors, doctrinators, as the spiritists used to call. And I use the same lines that I just spoke to those brothers who manifest themselves in the mediumistic meetings through a medium, and they are really rebellious against any teaching. And I try to why Jesus went through all the ordeal in the Calvary to leave the example, and it works most of the time. 99% of the time it works, because that's really touching, the way Christ died for us to deliver his message. So the narrow gate can be in one way of understanding. In earth, we have to give up a lot of things and behaviors In the spiritual world, you give it all up, even your body, to get into the spirit world. And one might ask you, and what about the purgatory? Is some kind of place that you remain for a while? How is the concept of purgatory? Is it the same of the Broadway? And actually, purgatory is a stage that one may go through if one is going to heaven, but needs to be purified first. Broadway is the path that leads to destruction, is a little bit diverted from the purgatory. And also in the same parable, Jesus refers to the rich man. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than the rich man attain to the kingdom of heaven. So these verses are contextualized to Jesus' his own days, right? A rich man of his days very often would have to do a lot of unethical things to get rich. Nowadays, we live in a society that has a strong code of business ethics, and Jesus was talking about people that were obsessed with earthly riches. So we don't want to misunderstand that to be rich is acceptable in heaven. That's not true. That's not what the parable means. It means that it requires sacrifice. An animal was just the animal. There, if you could extend the time a little bit, we would go through the translation over time. But we can talk about that some other time. So the narrow gate and the wide gates, right? Let's read it later again. So the narrow gate and the wide gates, enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Only a few find it. The easy way is the wide gate, the broad way. The majority of people choose that way because we're talking about choice now. Once again, the old and perpetual fight between free will and consciousness. So the majority of people choose to walk the broad way. It must be good, acceptable. It's for the majority. It's easier. It's faster sometimes. Everything is acceptable. It's like a collective personality. One does, all the others do the same. It's like zombies. When you look at the let's say the broad, but the Broadway I'm talking about now is the Avenue in New York City, right? The Broadway, the famous, worldwide famous Broadway. You look at people like the 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they all leaving work and heading, in a hurry to catch the bus, the train, the subway, but everybody in the same position, head down, looking at the cell phone, reading text, reading WhatsApp, whatever it is, but it looks like a bunch of zombies, all the same, everybody doing the same thing, behaving the same way. It's even funny when you see that. So the Broadway for everyone that chooses to go faster, easier, for all people from all walks of life, from all religions, for all color, race, nationality, for all beliefs, for everyone. It's wide open. It's easier. Come in, right? Now the hard way. The hard way is the narrow gate. It's hidden. It's hard to find. It's narrow. You have to squeeze yourself to make sacrifices to get into it. It's really tight. And the conversion, it's hard work. To be a Christian is to seek trouble. To be spiritist is even more. To be spiritist is to seek trouble, to experience trial, And I'm saying this because Kardec says that a spiritist and a Christian, it's the same. A good spiritist and a good Christian are all the same. So to be Christian is to seek trouble, to experience trial, loneliness, sarcasm, be called a bigot, narrow-minded, unpopular, strange, freak sometimes. And some say, if most of my friends become Christian, then I'll get encouraged. Maybe I'll get encouraged and become Christian too. Really? Is that the real Christian? Is that the real concept of to be a Christian, to be a spiritist? Though is choose the broadly. So I call that collective personality, not individual. It's when one leaves the individual personality and walks through the herd to the bunch to join the collective personality. And it's like what happens when good kids from good families engage in Christian activities for years and then they go to live in college. They are now 18, they were admitted in college, they graduate from high school, new life. Everybody wants that. Right? All kids, they dream of leaving the family for a while to be free, to get out of the rules of the parents in college. And even those who have the Christian principles, solid Christian principles, sometimes once they go to college, they go back to the life of a true Christian, uh, Christian young man, young girl, because they found an easier way. They found a broad way. They don't want to go back to the narrow gate, and that's very common, even in our environment. I remember I was 19. I was a motorcycler, like most kids in my hometown back in Brazil. And there was one night we were this. I used to attend night school, and right before college, and that night we were dismissed earlier. We wouldn't have the second half of classes, and then me and another kid, we decided to take a ride around the city. And this kid, we didn't have much intimacy, but we were, schoolmates, school friends. We attended the same school, the same time. We saw each other every night, and we were kind of friends, right? Motorcycle friends. And then we decided to ride together, each one of us on our own motorcycle, and we went to a certain part of the town, and he started kind of behaving a little strange. And he said, I want to go to a place, and are you sure you want to follow me? I said, what kind of place is it? It's a place, but he didn't say, he wasn't at easy to tell me what kind of place it was. And then I asked girls. He said, no. And then I went a little further. Drugs? He said, no. But want to follow me? And well, it was not prostitution, was not drugs. And I said, well, yeah, 19-year-old, I was really curious. Then I followed that kid. And then we turned a couple blocks and we stopped in front of a building. In the second floor of the building, there was a little office, actually a broad office room. And he said, this is a spiritist center. Have you heard about it? I said, you're talking about Allan Kardec, the Spirit's book, Gospel according to the Spiritism, the Gospel, the Heaven and Hell, what's the Spiritism? Is that what you're talking about? He said, yeah. He said, yeah. And then he laughed and we laughed and he said, yeah, let's see. But he said, but it's on a mediumistic meeting inside. Back in those days, like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they used to conduct open meetings of that kind, and the public had access. So, see, we never know. And back in those days, we never knew who was serious about it and who was not. And then that kid chose the narrow gate that I chose to. Like we were in the right path. So that's good too. You get a very young person, kind of firmness. So true and false prophets. And the false prophets lead you to the broad way. And he says, Matthew says, um, watch out for the false prophets, right? Because they come to you as in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. And by their fruit, you know, by their deeds, by their actions, you know the tree, right? So in the narrow way, we're going to be tested. Who likes to be tested? I don't like to be tested. You know why? Because we don't like to be tested. Because we are afraid of being tested and fail. Because we are not sure. We didn't do our homework well, right? People on the Broadway is more interested in equality than truth, more afraid of being regarded as a bigot, as prejudiced, than being wrong, right? We we don't like to be labeled narrow-minded. We like to be cool, to be, to appear smart. So Broadway, for example, the wide gate, the broad gate, the broad way is, for example, when we find the false prophets, the spirit centers that offer multiple off doctrine activities to attract more proselyte. And proselytism, it's not a goal, it's not a model. It's like you walk into the Disney World and you see what Mickey, you see Minnie, Duck Donald, Donald Duck, the Goofy. You see all those Disney characters. You're not gonna find Superman there. You're not gonna find the Incredible Hulk there because they are not Disney. They belong to um, other kind of characters, not Disney. So um, if if you're gonna find characters that are not Disney in this Disney world, what's gonna happen? You're not gonna find them. And if you find them, you choose the enchantment because once you get you getting in the mood for Disney characters, and you start finding other characters that are not the same, are not the same. They are not the same. They're not attuned with the principles. Then you lose the enchantment, and you end up leaving there too. Same happens in the spiritist centers, because it's very common to find the spiritist centers with new trends, right? The false prophets, they manage to penetrate slowly, and they show you the narrow, the wide gate, broad door that will attract more people, like as if more people means better quality, right? So new trends start popping up here and there, and you in this kind of activity, you lead the audience to destruction, like Reiki, magnetism, chromotherapy, things like that, right? It becomes a retail supercenter, and you miss the point. So back to Kardec, back to the basis. Without charity, there is no salvation. So we need to disincarnate, then we reincarnated in this life, in the current life. We always gonna have two choices in everything in life. Every situation that you face, you always find two ways: the easy way, the hard way. But only one of them will be the right way. Sometimes the right way will be the easy way, but this is exception. Is for those who know exactly what they're doing, like those who can honestly answer 1 to 10, I'm 10 with Jesus. So if you are really 10, honestly, consciously, you are 10. You can walk any way that you are firm. Your feet will be on the ground. So looking back to the primitive Christians, they used to die on the stake. They used to be whipped, stoned, like Paul, like Peter, like all the other apostles except John, and they chose to walk through the narrow gate. They chose the hard way, but they knew that what was beyond that door, beyond the door was freedom. And this freedom translated into Spiritist doctrine is to be in peace with yourself, with your own conscience, with your own way of living, making Jesus' way your own way, imitating Jesus the way he thinks, the way he speaks, the way he moves, the way he acts. But in order to do that, you need to know him. So that's once again the need, the urge to know better, to study more the Spiritist doctrine, to understand the deepest concept of the narrow gate and the wide gate as a matter of choices. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so
Back to you,
much,
Vanessa.
Andre. Thank you. Before we go to the prayer, to the passages in prayer, I would like just to quickly join together here, Luciana and Paloma and you, just so we can emphasize, right, friends, the beauty of this reflection. You know, I would like Luciana and Paloma to join in with their highlight so we can reinforce the message that Andre brought to us.
I really like the questions, Andre. Thank you so much, because when you were saying, asking the questions and putting a scale for us, it was a inner reflection moment that you can measure yourself. There is no body checking on your grade other than your connection to God, right? And I thought it was really beautiful, and finalizing that is truly our option. We have a pathway to take, and those choices will come probably daily in our lives. Some of them might be an easy answer where you choose the narrow gate or the other, the easy path. And sometimes we'll make the wrong choice and we'll have the opportunity to head back, but the expectation that you won't be easy, I think, is a good reminder, and for us to measure ourselves there. If it's too easy, maybe something is wrong, you know. Following Jesus, it's been a challenge. It's supposed to be. We are on planet Earth. So thank you. I really appreciated the moments of inner reflection.
Thank you, Paloma. Thank you for the
My
highlight,
pleasure.
Luciana.
So yes, it's very important, like you measure, like we come back to ourselves to see how is our relationship with these choices that we have daily, right? Because every moment, every step of the way, there is choice that are being presented to us, and there's only two choices, right? The one that will be good and the one that is not going to be so good, and it all depends of our knowledge. Like you said, we need to know and learn more about of the spiritism. So the more we learn about spiritism, we are going to be able to make better choices, and realize that if we are wanting to follow Jesus, wants to do a good decisions, will follow what is saying on the Kardec's books for us. And it's always about the free will. It's very important to tell us, show us that the free will is in our hands. And whatever we decide to do with that, you'll be our responsibility, but it's very good when we have the spiritism, any doctrine, any knowledge behind us. And sometimes when we mention that Broadway is like the easy way to choose, is like Paloma mentioned here, it is easier because we're repeating something that we are used to do. And this is the call on this reincarnation for us to get out of our comfort zone and change to progress. Otherwise, we're going to have the same results. So when things are too easy, need to realize that we are doing the thing that we are used to do, and this is the call for us to change, to be different. And Jesus came and gave us the example, and it's hard because for us we need to get rid of what we think is easy. But like if we really put it in perspective, Jesus' way is easier. We're just not there yet. That's what I was gonna say.
Thank you, Luciana, for the important highlight. And I would like to finalize by reminding everybody that this is a passage we have heard for 2 millennia. But there are some things we haven't actually absorbed. So the assessment questions that Andre brought to us really can make us more permeable to understand. And I will never forget when we talk about our decisions. I studied that I came across in neuroscience, which was quite surprising, in which the neurophysicists, because it was a team of neuroscientists and physicists, they were realizing that people, they don't make mistakes at decision making level. They make mistakes in the encoding of the stimulus, meaning we're going to make mistakes in the way we are encoding what life is presenting to us. And I'll give an example. It's about when we see somebody of a different nationality and we think that they are different. And that creates impulses of goodwill or ill will according to that information that our mind processed. Or, for example, a person of a certain race, and we may treat them either equally or differently, like the ancient Romans used to do. If you were of a different nationality, you were treated differently. So the decisions they made were based on the way they encoded life. So Jesus comes and gives us a new code. And the new code comes with goodwill towards everyone. The first facet of charity, right? And as André was giving the talk, it inspired me to see this message, which is homework for all of us who are home. In the book, Our Daily Bread, chapter 66, goodwill. Everything begins with goodwill. Because in goodwill, says Emmanuel, we find work. When we have work, it leads us to renewal. When we are renewed, we find the good. The good expresses the spirit of service. The spirit of service brings understanding. Understanding brings humility. Humility wins love. Love leads to self-denial. Self-denial reaches the light. The light promotes self-betterment. Self-betterment sacrifices the individual, and the sanctified individual converts the world to God. Bottom line, André was saying, the key to the narrow door is goodwill, everyone.
Yep,
Right?
exactly.
In all the examples you gave us, the bottom line was this open heart, which is the number one step of charity, goodwill towards everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from, your age, your anything. We're going to be of goodwill to the needs of one another. So thank you, André, for your goodwill, for being here with us on a Friday. Thank you. And I hope you can come back.
It was an honor to me.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much. I'm
Vanessa.
sure.
Thank you for this
Thank,
opportunity.
thank you, Andre. And now we're going to invite everyone to join Luciana. She's going to lead us into the passes, the spiritual passes moment. Wherever you are, remember, what do you do? I know you can continue browsing and listening, picking up the phone, texting, eating. Don't, unless you have a baby and a child and an elderly person that needs you. But if you can, sit still. And like Virginia and Carlos sitting still here as well, all of us quietly bring a little cup or a little bottle of water or a jar. Do you doubt that the good spirits will be there? They all have goodwill. They are there. We just need to open the door so we can facilitate their work. What a beautiful opportunity. Luciana, let us follow her word by word, feeling by feeling.
So as we close our to receive the blessings that was provided to the good spirits that are accompanying us, we breathe in and out, feeling the love and the protection of our Master Jesus. We feel this healing light permeating our perispirit, reaching our body, the light that is on top of our head, helping us to align our chakras, align our thoughts, opening up the doors for us to receive the healing, the treatment that each one of us are in need. We feel this loving light cleansing every part of our body, top to bottom. And we feel that we are involved in the warmth rays of sunshine, warming us so that we feel the love energy surrounding around us, our cells, our organs, and also our spirit. And as we feel and receive this treatment, we can visualize Master Jesus in front of us, opening his arm so we can embrace him in a hug. This loving embrace that will assure us that we are not alone, that Jesus, our Master, our guide, is here, holding us in his arm, helping us to leave behind all the energies that are not necessary, or the energies that doesn't bring any good to us. With his power, he dissolves all the energies that is not necessary for our progress. And we feel as one with him. Let us enjoy this hug from the Master, healing every soul, every little cell of our body. We feel renewed, we feel loved, we feel this good connection with the higher realms. And as we feel this good treatment, we start to prepare ourselves for our prayer. And we'll repeat every word in silence in your mind so that our prayer can reach higher realms, higher spheres. Dear Mother, Father God, mentors of the Kardec Radio, mentors of the SSVA, we are all here united in your name. And we want to say thank you for the opportunity of being here among friends of both realms. We want to say thank you for bringing André Cabral to our meeting to help us with those teachings that will help us for life. We also want to pray for all of those brothers and sisters in need, and they are desperate, not knowing where they can find your love, Master. May they feel now with our prayer a little bit of your love in their hearts. And may they find a good spirit, a good friend that can bring them to know about Master Jesus and the Creator. We also want to pray for our brothers and sisters that are with their mind very confused and thinking about suicide. We want to pray for them, and we want to ask for Mother Mary to send her legion to those homes of the families that has suicidal members in their family. May they feel, dear Mother, your loving embrace, and may they be able to change their mindset and choose life, because life is a blessing on this planet. We also want to pray for all of those that are ill, that are sick, hospitalized, or in their homes. May they feel the release that they need in this moment. We want to pray also for everyone in a power position in our country, in our planet. May the messengers of God reach their hearts so they can make a better decision for humanity. May they focus on the love. May they focus on the greater good so that our nation, our planet can move and progress in the scale of evolution for a planetary transition of a regenerated world planet. And with your permission, dear Master, mentors of this house, our dear mentors, we would like to ask permission to close the meeting of tonight. And so be it.
Thank you, Luciana. Thank you, André. Thank you, Paloma. Thank you, friends. Right, Virginia?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Should you have any need that we can be of help, write to us at Cardiac Radio, cardiacradio@gmail.com, where we're always attentive to reaching out to you and nourishing our souls. For now, many blessings to everyone, and until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.